Hey, this is Sandy from la.xylh on Facebook. That's Los Angeles Xinyi. So my name is Sandy, and I just arrived back in LA from Australia. So I'm in government suggested quarantine, and I wanted to train, but I have limited space. Luckily, as you see, it's outside, so that's better. So I'm not restricted in my height, but I thought I'd help my Kung Fu brothers and sisters and anyone else who has limited space to train, um, to express their energy and power even in a limited space. And we want to move to live. So at the end of this video, I'm going to show you a movement. And at the end of every one of these sessions, I'm going to show you a different movement that you can use even with limited space. So I'm going to give you some principles every day, one principle about Xinyi Liuhe, and I'm going to give you a move every day for the next few days while I'm in quarantine. So that's why it's called Kung Fu. All right. So today I wanted to start talking about dimensions. Today's topic is about dimensions, and I mentioned I'm in quarantine. So one of the limitations that I have is dimensions. I've got a small working space. I can't go to a park. And so the good thing about Xinyi Liuhe Chan is that it's got a lot of linear forms. So basically just walking backwards and forwards, doing different moves, different combinations. So because it's linear, because you only have to really worry about one axis, it's very space efficient. So here's I'll draw a little diagram to show what I mean. So here's my little guy getting ready for some Xinyi Liuhe, and you can see in the red there's the vertical dimension. So you only really need the space, head high room, but you don't really need any space above that. Outdoors is ideal. That's unlimited space and it's better to breathe. And then in the width here, which I've put in green, in the width in Xinyi linear forms, you only really need the width of your shoulders because most of the movements are contained within that space. So there are some sort of V steps that I've drawn out here, some different steps which take up a little bit more room, but you can practice just moving backwards and forwards along a line, straight line, vertical line, and you don't have to worry about anything wider than the width of your shoulders. You could practice in a tunnel. Probably a submarine's probably a bit too small, but at least the older ones. But you can practice in very limited space. So the only dimension that you're really worried about here is this one here with length, which I've got here in blue. So you can see here, you can actually do some effective things just with 4 feet of space. Then the next area is 6, then 8. So with 4 feet of space, right, you can basically do standing and turning moves, and you don't need a lot more area than that. Then out at the 6 feet level, you can do finishing moves or the finishing sequence of Xinyi Liuhe, or you can do maybe one side each of Lock the Gate. Then at 8 feet, you can start to do some useful combinations. So you really don't need that much space. Then out at 10 feet, well, then you start to be able to do some useful combinations. And 12 feet here, you can probably do 2 steps of the swallow swoops down. That's a very deep movement, and you have to extend your feet all the way. So 12 feet probably gives you a lot of flexibility. And then out to about 36 feet is about the maximum useful area anyway. But anything less than 36 you can use very, very effectively. So today, that's it for the theory. So basically, the dimension of length is the one that gives you the flexibility. More length equals more combos. Height you don't have to worry about, because anything lower than anything above head height you don't really have to worry about. You can not do those movements. And width is just basically standing, if you're standing straight on, the width of your shoulders. So today's move, let's get to that and today's move is we're just going to do some 蛇脖草, the snake parts the grass. And this one you can just do standing up. So you probably need even less than shoulder width. So here we go. Let's back up. Let's find a nice camera angle. You don't really need to see my head because most of the action is down below anyway. So you can just start slowly. It's kind of staying in one plane. It's just this plane here. Then start to add some, separate the hands and bring them together. This hand is going to pull down on the elbow at the end, and the same on the other side. Open, boom, circle, circle both hands, separating and timing together. Okay, now as you start to reach the side, you can start to sit down a little bit. Use your, sit down your butt like you're going to sit on a seat, or you're sitting down really hard, you're trying to break the seat. Breathing out with the exertion on each side. And trying to use the legs to pump the body and swing the hands. Okay, so that's today's movement, and that's a talk about dimensions. Tomorrow I'll be here with another topic to practice Xinyi Liuhe and another little movement you can practice with very limited space. Thanks for joining Quarantine Kung Fu. I'm Sandy, and you can find us at here on this YouTube channel or at la.xylh on Facebook. Practice well.